You've selected a show from the Podcast Jukebox, a DIY podcast network.
It's Will Shawn Podcast. The internet cried out for 2 more blowhards, and they courageously answered that call. Armed with the weapon of wit, each week they're joined by guests to discuss movies, television, pop culture, and anything else that's pissing them off. Take it away, boys.
I'm Will Link.
And I'm Sean David.
And this is Will Shawn Podcast.
With Fire and Fury. How you doing, Will?
So I was at a taping of a game show the other day.
You were?
A game show that I kind of through my job. I'm like, oh, let me go. I've never been to a taping of a game show.
Really?
No, I've been to like talk shows.
Okay.
But never a game show. And I realized I was not eligible. It was Let's Make a Deal.
Okay.
And I was not eligible to compete. So I didn't have to wear a costume, which is just as well. Because
this whole thing, this costume thing just threw me, by the way.
And I don't think I would be good at this.
Okay.
Because I think I'd be good at the games on game shows. But what I wouldn't be good at is like jumping up and down and being all excited. Like
the full Alyssa Sabo.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to, like, if they're like, you've won a hot tub, I'd be like, okay, well, that's a fucking problem because I live in an apartment. You know, like, I wouldn't be able to be excited about it. I'd be like, yay.
Yeah.
Even if I won, like, $1,000, like, I could use $1,000.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd throw myself at Wayne Brady's feet and be like, thank you. Like, I don't think I would be good at game shows.
You're a man who shows his enthusiasm through more reserved ways.
I get excited about, pop culture, which is why we have this show.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry to tell you, there is no free $1,000 in this podcast, so you can temper your excitement.
Well, what's going on in the world of Will Shawn Podcast?
Want to continue to thank all of our listeners. You are wonderful people and blessed by the grace of God. But make sure that you are evangelizing for us, telling others about the show. Make sure you are subscribed to us on iTunes. Make sure you go and give us a star rating and a comment. That way other people can find the show. And if you came to us through the Podcast Jukebox Network, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And if you came to us via Will's soon-to-be-defunct Orphan Black show, once again, we appreciate you. And we will provide you with a home after that show finishes.
And who is our sponsor this week?
Shelter. That's SHLTR, the new app that will tell you where to find the nearest one to you.
Let me ask you this real fast before we get into this. Do you think Fallout shelters are going to be making a comeback? Is this a business we should get into?
Well, you're fucked because you're in an apartment, so.
I'm just saying, you're in an apartment.
I expect to go down with the ship. Okay. Running into a shelter and eating cans and fighting for survival in the new world. Nah.
I'll fight for survival in a new world.
I'm not fighting for survival.
I don't know how long I'll last, but
I'm a sacrifice.
On the show today, oh man, CBS now has their own streaming service. Everyone's got streaming services. I got some problems with them. We're going to talk. Then there are all these great pop culture things you look so forward to, and then they turn out to be utter shit. We'll talk about what some of those have been for us. And Taco Bell and Lyft are coming together in a way you'd think I'd like, but I got some problems with it. We will discuss. But first, we are very excited to have with us today Malachi Mutakabbir. Oh my God, I can't even, I wrote it out phonetically, and I'm still fucking it up. Malachi Mutakabbir.
That's right.
Okay.
There we go. Fifth time's a charm.
Fifth time's a charm.
I think what it is, when I know someone's going to have a name other than like something like John Smith, basically your name has to be that simple for me to pronounce it correctly on here. And unless, like, I think I look at it, I practice, I write it, and I'm saying it in my head. And then when the moment comes, I always blow it.
Don't worry about it. People screw it up a lot.
So, Malachi, we wanted to have you on talk about stunts.
Okay.
That's why we wanted to have you on, because we were talking about this a little bit when I met you. But before we get into that,
okay,
where are you from? What's your origin story?
Well, I was born and raised in New York City.
I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up in New York. I actually lived all over New York City. I started in Queens. Then moved from Queens. I lived in Coney Island for about a year. From Coney Island, I moved to the Bronx. And from the Bronx, I lived in Flushing for about maybe a year or two. And graduated from Flushing High School. And so from there, I actually moved down to Atlanta, Georgia for several years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing down there?
Well, I was doing computer work. I was a computer programming technician and stuff. And also like getting into like club promotions and things like that. Like I was just kind of like a party animal back in those days, you know? Life was a blur.
Have you calmed down then?
Oh, yeah. Completely. Completely.
I guess we all have to
evolve eventually.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so you're down in Atlanta then.
Yeah. And then from there, I decided, you know what? Everything's pretty much fizzling out. It's balancing out. There's no real plateauing. Nothing's really going on. So let me try something different. I used to always come out here with my ex-girlfriend and surf and snowboard. And it was more active. In Atlanta, nobody's really as active. Maybe they are now, but back then, not as much. Yeah. And I wanted to live somewhere where it was a lot more activity, you know? Yeah. And so eventually I came out here. And from there, it's like I'll never go back. I love it out here. I love California. I love the sunshine, the weather, the beaches, you know, all the beaches, you know. And so I'm able to drive from the snow to the beach in the same day. That's what really made me fall in love with California.
Not a big snowboarding scene in Atlanta?
Nah. Actually, there are some mountains not far, maybe 2 or 3 hours away from Atlanta. Yeah. And like North Carolina, stuff like that. But they're like bumps. Yeah. It's like, you know, you get up there and it's like a cheap thrill. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what's kind of crazy about California, I feel. You are so close to so many different kinds of environments.
I love it. That's what I love about it.
Now, you talked about you came out here. It sounds like you're doing a lot of active things. You talked about certain stuff. I mean, have you always been like an athletic guy? I mean, you're a big guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and normally when I say that could be anywhere because I am not a big guy. But you are legitimately.
I think we could stack two of you on top of each other, and you would still still be bigger.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in a martial arts family. My dad is a retired champion. He's well known in the martial arts world. His name is Abdul Mutakabbir. And he's a retired champion. And so he has a school in New York City. It's in Jamaica, Queens. It's been there for over 30 years. And he's basically like an icon. And so being the son of such a martial artist fanatic, I would say, you know, I used to have my moments where, God, I hated it. But eventually, as an adult and I grew older, I was so thankful that I was raised that way. You know what I mean? Because it gave me a lot of self-discipline and strength or whatever to overcome any situation, mentally, spiritually, or physically. You know what I mean? So I was very thankful for that. But as a child, the kids were outside playing in the streets or whatever. Or my dad was like, get in your stances or do this or do that. I'm like, oh, God, I hate you. It all paid out, though.
What was your form of childhood rebellion? Like, screw this. I'm going to the library. I don't need this. I'm going to read.
I read a lot, too, so yeah.
So you're always athletic, and it seems like you've been training.
Well, you also come from a renowned martial arts family.
Yeah, exactly. The Links were very good. The famous Link martial artists. But you've always been. It sounds like you've always been training. You've always had like such a level of discipline.
Okay, well, like I said, life was a blur when I lived in Atlanta. So that was when I kind of like just like let it go. There was a time my dad used to always say, "Oh, you escaped Shaolin," you know, because there was a time where like I would teach teach classes, whatever, adults and children classes, and eventually I was like, you know what, I got burnt out. At the age of like 24, I was just like, you know what, screw this, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And so from that point on, I was living the party life for several years, and I kind of like just let myself go.
Just 300 pounds.
Yeah, I was pushing this, but it was just like, whatever, So there was a spurt in my life where I didn't train.
Do you feel though like you kind of had to have that part of your life like to kind of find it again? Like
most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. I feel that it made me appreciate who I was and where I came from when I came back into the life of martial arts and of training altogether, period, Because it's like, wow, I just let myself go and I can't even do this anymore and I can't do that, I can't, And so I was like, wow. So that's what made me really appreciate where I came from and wanted to get back into it.
Now, was that something that happened when you came back when you moved to Los Angeles?
Actually, I started back up when I became later on in Atlanta,
Okay.
like towards the end of living in Atlanta.
You found a gym. You found.
I started getting back training. I started feeling better about myself and, working out and keeping, strong. And from that point on, then I was able to, because I feel like if I was such a big boy coming out here snowboarding and all that stuff, I would have never made it. I'd have rolled down the hill and made an avalanche or something like that. You know what I mean?
So the idea of like training to get into stunt work and stuff like that, is that something that came to you before you came out here, or was that something once you were out here, like I said, surfing and snowboarding and stuff, like, hey, I could take a fall?
Well, like I said, training with martial arts, you learn how to take falls and rolls and all that stuff. So that's already embedded in me. However, there was always something in the back of my mind saying, what if, one day, even though I was a young guy, I was like, I want to be a stuntman, because it was always seemed so cool to me. However, that vision was just like, whatever.
It didn't have any reality.
It didn't have reality. So I met my girlfriend, and she was into it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, that's what's up. I was, good-looking girl. She's pretty strong, and she's into it. I'm like, okay.
By the way, good-looking girl is how we all get involved into anything we want. It's like oh, okay, this good-looking girl. So, I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll rob a bank.
Yeah, exactly. I'll throw myself down this flight of stairs.
I always wanted to do this. Yeah.
Shout outs to Nicolette for that one, too. So, that's kind of what happened. She was like, well, you want to come train with me? And I was like, yeah, I'll come train, just because I wanted to get back into martial arts. Now, like I said, I have been hitting the gym, going to the gym, working out, running, and all that good stuff, calisthenics and weights, but I haven't been training martial arts. So getting back going to work out with her, I was like, okay, well, let me do it. And I was kind of rusty, I'm still kind of rusty, getting back into it. It's been about 7 months back into actually martial arts.
I'll throw a punch at you. We'll see how rusty you are.
It's programmed into me, so, But, so eventually the guy, which is with my instructor, his Gio Corvera, very, very, very talented gentleman, got me into it. He was just like, listen, do you do stunts? I'm like, no, I'm just here to train and support my girl. He said, well, you should think about it. I was like, okay. So, I started training and taking these little fight choreography classes with her. And I had to really totally unlearn everything I learned as a martial artist to become a stunt performer.
Well, now let me ask you this, because you were saying like fight choreography and stuff like that. Are there, to be a stunt man, do you have to kind of have a knowledge of both? Because I think about a lot of stunt guys who, like, you see, like, oh, and then the guy got thrown out this window in this impossible drop, and he's a stunt guy. But I guess in fight scenes, too, a lot, they're cutting to the stunt guy. So do you I imagine you have to have both kind of skill sets.
Well, the thing is this. Determination is the main thing. As long as you're determined and you train every day to become this stunt performer, you don't have to do it all your life. It doesn't have to be done all your life. But you put in the time and the work to become that person, it can happen. You know what I mean? So, there's guys that probably haven't been training as long as I am, but they're awesome. So, I would say, it's just dedication.
So, as a stunt person, like, what would be the most extreme? Like, is there a limit? Is there something that either you're like,
no women, no children,
like, like this is too much, or is there any fears that you have to overcome? Like, I don't know if you have, like, say, like, I don't think you do, but like I could imagine someone's got a fear of heights and they have to overcome that stuff.
That's one of them. Actually, you have to overcome your fear of heights because you practice falls and stuff like that. And I think the highest fall I've ever done was probably like 15 to 20 feet. These guys is going up like 30, 40, 50 feet and dropping. It's like so scary. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like even from that short distance, I can go up there 6 feet and I'm looking down like, oh my God. So, you have to get over the fear of that if you want to get work, you know what I mean? Because it's not just majority of it is fighting, but a lot of it, you get falls or whatever. There was a gentleman who passed away not too long ago from The Walking Dead.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, and, he was a great gentleman and, he passed away, due to a fall.
Right, and they said that like he was trying to correct, like in the mid-fall, he knew something. He knew immediately that it was off. Yeah,
I've heard several stories. Yeah. I don't know, so I won't lie to you. Okay. But it's real. You know what I mean? So I kind of after that, the next day after hearing this gentleman passed away, I'm taking a stunt fall class, and this in the back of my head brewing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you got to think about things like that. But the main thing is practice, repetition. Muscle memory. Once you start practicing, you keep doing it over and over and over again. You become more conditioned to do this. Now accidents happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing that everything can go right and something still can go wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, you never know.
Yes.
You never know.
Like podcasting.
Yeah. I mean, we're putting our lives on the line here every week, Sean and I.
You guys are heroes.
Yeah, we're the real heroes. What are some, you think, then, like, misconceptions people might have about, like, stunt work and something like that? Like,
That it's easy.
okay.
Because I hear from a lot, like, okay, let me tell you for right now, I'm still training to become a professional. You have to have a SAG, which is being a Screen Actors Guild union. I've done a couple of low-budget jobs, but I have not been registered in the SAG to get the big jobs. I've actually been offered big jobs, but I haven't been able to accept them, however, because I'm not in the union. Now, there's guys that basically, they do that and, they get great pay, whatever. So, I kind of like
You're working
lost.
on it.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Yeah, but I lost the question. What was the question again?
Oh, it was about misconceptions. You were saying it was that some people think it's easy. I guess sometimes people see, like, someone, like, they get hit with, like, some breakaway chair or something. They're like, I could do that. But you're still getting hit with
You're still
something.
getting hit. Accidents happen. Actors, I've heard of from some stunt performers saying that some of the actors actually punched them in the face, when they weren't supposed to.
I would imagine that happens a lot because you're dealing with people
who aren't trained.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're kind of stepping in for them or stepping in for the guy that Tom Cruise has got to... Although I feel like Tom Cruise...
Well, yeah, that's a question about when they say, she did all her own stunts.
I don't know about
like,
that.
did Charlize go tumbling down those steps?
I honestly, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Like there's one stunt that she did in Atomic Blonde where she jumped out the window with the extension cord and swung around. Honestly, I don't think she did that one, but I was told that she did all of her fight scenes. So
it's got to be crazy because you sense that there are a lot of actors more than ever seem to try to push themselves to these things, and just from an insurance standpoint,
and
I can't imagine anyone would ever like, Charlize, you're great. Yeah, sure, you can do that. I know you're capable of doing that, but...
Yeah, but let's get hella guys.
Easy. Yeah, so honestly, for that reason alone, I don't think that they're able to do all their stunts because, they're like the top of the list on the call sheet. You know what I mean?
Without
they
them,
get
the
hurt,
movies,
Yeah, everybody's out of work for a couple of weeks or whatever till they heal. You know what I mean? And also, I was told from another trainer, so he was telling me that, most actors should just let the stuntman do the job because we're all working. You know what I mean? That keeps the stuntman working. Yeah. If you, sit down and just let the stuntman do his job, then, everybody gets a paycheck. You know
but there's
I mean?
this idea of like, we need to do this, I'll make it real. It needs to be, you can't cheat the audience.
It's still pretty, if you're doing it practically, it's
I don't know, Keanu Reeves is running around for like 3 minutes without a cut, just blasting at everyone. So
yeah, well, he's just shooting.
That's more like a dance. That's choreography. That's
choreography.
Right.
Pretty much.
Look, if I was in a movie and they're like, do you want to try jumping from this truck to the other truck? I would say, no, get Malachi to do it. And then they'd be like...
You're going to put some horn rim glasses on you and you'll be
I don't think that's going to match, but is that... How big an issue is that? Or is it also that, like, stunt guys are also getting a lot of work as, like, henchman or army guy?
Actually, yes. Guys, if you're not lucky enough to become a double, then, there's always work as a henchman or a bad guy, because I've played henchman. That's the roles I've played so far. You know what I mean? And, you take it head, you make the actor look good. That's what it's all about. You are there to make the actor look like a badass. You know what I mean? Take the fall, take the hit, whatever.
Make Danny DeVito look like a badass motherfucker.
Exactly. But, as long as you get the paycheck or whatever, go ahead, kid. So that's how I look at it.
Nice. Do you think we will ever get to the point where they give an Oscar for the stunts? Because I know SAG now, at the SAG Awards, they have a stunt category where they're like the stunt team from Mad Max or things like that.
Which is pretty gnarly.
Oh, well, I mean, Mad Max is, to me, the ultimate. You got to get in one of those Mad Max.
Oh, my God. I don't know about that one. I don't know if I have the heart for that one. That was pretty crazy.
But, I don't understand why we don't have an Oscar for that.
But we have 2 for sound.
Well, that's the thing, because we give out 24 Oscars now. What's the harm in giving out a 25th? And by the way, stunts would be a badass one to give out because the clips they would show, the behind the scenes, that would get people interested in, like, people would be into that part of the Oscars.
I totally agree. I think as I'm coming into this industry, I'm noticing that stuntmen are pretty much under-recognized, you know what I mean? They're not recognized the way they should be. I mean, they're a major part of the films, and I don't think, like, even the pay isn't the same, no way near a fraction of what the actual actor gets or whatever, even for the double. I don't know, you know? And so I think that it would be awesome for stunt performers to have an Oscar. However, they do have an award show. It's called the Taurus Stunt Awards.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so, but I mean, like I said, that's just their own award show. Right. You know what I mean? So an Oscar would be awesome because an Academy Award, that would be crazy.
I mean, think of how, we were just talking about so many movies just this year, like Atomic Blonde and stuff like that. Like these people.
Moonlight would have cleaned up in the stunt category. La La Land, all those car dancers.
Yeah, all those dancing.
All right, so Malachi,
bravely shut down a freeway.
Are you, I know you said you've just been doing some small stuff lately. Right. Is there anything you got coming up? Anything that you're working on?
Well, actually, as of right now, I'm actually going to take a trip to Atlanta to see if I could get some hustling on, hit up some sets or whatever, because a lot of filming gets done in Atlanta.
I was going to ask, because it's funny. It's like kind of coming back full circle. When we were talking about The Walking Dead, I'm like, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
They also do a lot of Marvel stuff.
A lot of Marvel. So. And I missed out with the Black Panther rush. It was pretty crazy. Everybody was out there for that, so I missed out with that one. But, I mean, you still got the Avengers Infinity War coming out and all that.
There'll be a Black Panther 2.
Of course.
There'll be another Avengers down the line, I'm sure.
Yeah, so who knows, I'm just trying to keep my face in the mix and staying sharpened by training every day, I don't take any days off.
What is your, as someone who takes every day off, what is your regiment to be
okay, so
be in this, which we'll take a photo and we'll post it on Twitter later so you see. But basically, I mean, I wake up at probably 8 o'clock in the morning, rush over to Van Nuys, House of Champions. Shout outs to Sensei Mark Parra. And I'll go to House of Champions and I'll train for an hour and a half, 2 hours the most. And from there, I'll probably eat a little quick meal. Head over to LA Fitness for an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'm pretty much training 4.5, 5 hours a day. And there's other days where I'll just take a fight choreography class, and then go to the gym. Every day I'm going to the gym, the regular gym. That's after or before my actual stunt training.
And do you have the same routine at the gym, or do you kind of mix it up?
I mix it up. Yeah, you got to mix it up. Today's back and leg day. That which is the roughest day of my life. Every Tuesday is leg and back day. It's oh my God. Yeah. And so, that, and then, just, you switch up your body parts when you're lifting weights and stuff like that, But I try to get a lot of cardio in. Hit the Culver City stairs. Oh, my God. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of that, yeah.
I've seen tell of it on Instagram.
It's crazy. We'll do that 5 times. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I hate walking up the steps here.
Sean, I go for a walk on my lunch break, listen to a podcast, and I'm like, I'm getting exercise.
I'm tired.
Yeah, by the end of it. Sean, we've done this podcast 263 episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
I am willing to say, am I forgetting, or have we never had anyone physically fit on this show? I feel like this is the first time
we've had people who are incidentally fit.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, not people working at it. I mean, you're working at it.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a place where people could, I don't know how much, promoting you're doing or anything like that, but is there a place...
Or village in martial arts, if they're interested in getting into it.
Is there a website or link or Twitter that either you or any of these places that you would like to give a shout out to?
Well, like I said, House of Champions is one. I also train with Zedric Harris, which is a pretty popular guy in the stunt industry. He has a class that takes place at a suicide boxing gym in the Valley.
Suicide boxing?
Yeah, I know, right? Sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I love that suicide boxing.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
and
next time you see me, I'll be
just a little buff Guido.
There's also a screen fighter. Jam is a very popular place in the Valley. Tim Storms, he has a spot, Art Through Movement. So there's a couple of places that you can go to and you can train, and but then there's actual stunt courses. I haven't taken any stunt courses. I just trained with the people who are pretty much in the industry. You know what I mean? And I was blessed to meet these people.
But that seems like the way. I mean, I'd imagine just like every job in the fucking world. You got to meet people. You got to
pay your dues,
and you got to meet the right people.
That's
and
right.
have those people support you. Every job I've ever gotten is because someone recommended me for.
That's right.
You know.
Yep.
Do you have a Twitter or anything?
I don't have a Twitter. I just do Facebook. It's just too much to keep up with. You know what I mean?
I don't do Facebook. I'm all over Twitter.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're guys who decide to pick and choose.
I'm on LinkedIn.
Sean's on everything. You got Instagram,
Etsy, Pinterest.
Oh yeah.
Snapchat.
I have it, but I don't post any snaps. I just use it to see other people's snaps.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Well then, Malachi, you want to talk some pop culture with us?
Oh yeah.
I knew you
love
did.
pop culture.
So are you a Star Trek fan?
Yes, I am.
I am too. Some of my earliest TV memories, I think, I remember watching old reruns of Star Trek with my dad, and then when The Next Generation came out, I know my dad was really excited, like, we get to watch this together kind of thing.
Awesome.
And I've watched all the Star Trek shows. Sean, are you a Star Trek?
I watched occasionally. I'm not. I was very adamant in the Star Wars, Star Trek culture wars, and I fell out firmly on the side of the Star Wars people.
I did
enjoy occasional episodes of Star Trek.
I like them all.
Yeah,
Well,
that's how I am, but I'm kind of more towards Star Wars.
But I was a diehard Star Wars fan. I enjoyed the episodes of The Next Generation that I would watch. I thought it was fun, but I still to this day have never seen a full episode of the original series.
What? Oh my gosh.
We got to correct that.
No, we don't. Do we?
You need to.
I'll watch the Orville.
No, you're going to watch... I'm going to show you some original Trek. We'll watch like The Trouble with Tribbles. We'll watch it.
Oh yeah, you need to watch Trouble with Tribbles. Awesome.
So here's the problem, though. There's this brand new Star Trek show coming
Heard
out.
about it.
And it looks... Oh, you should try and get work on that. Be a fucking Klingon.
Exactly.
In a fight with a batlet.
Man.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be
be awesome. But anyway, there's this new Star Trek show. And here's the problem with it. And this is what's driving me insane. It is a CBS show. Mm-hmm. But it is on a CBS separate streaming service.
All access.
CBS All Access.
That's crazy.
So... for the first time ever, I won't get to watch new Star Trek unless I pay either $6 a month, or if I don't want to have to sit through commercials, $10 a month. That's right, this pay service, on the cheaper one, you still would have to sit through fucking commercials.
Well, Hulu's like that as well.
Hulu's the only things I don't have are Hulu and Stars, and soon now CBS All Access. Because... this is getting ridiculous. How many are you paying for a lot of these services? I know you got Netflix because we're talking.
I've got Netflix and that's it. I can't get involved with it. It's just too much, And these guys, they're already making money, from their advertisements. Now they just want to milk the poor man, milk the regular Joe.
Yeah.
Why it's not fair.
And there was a big report that came out about how CBS is getting in a lot of shit because they have none of their new shows have any female leads, and very few of their shows have minority leads. Guess what? The star of Star Trek is a black woman. If you put this on your regular network, you would have also, I don't know, have been more important to the culture.
Well, CBS is a very shrewd television network. They know who their audience is, which is old white people, and they're like, our audience doesn't give a shit. They want more NCIS. They need Navy crimes. Just Navy crimes all day long. And so they realize that their core broadcast audience is not the people who are going to be tuning in for The Good Fight or for Star Trek, and that there's a separate audience that they're going to go and get them to pony up.
And they're used to paying anyway, so...
Well, I guess their thought is, who will pay... Like, Star Trek is such a big fan base that the nerds, like myself,
and
will
me.
go and pay the money. And it's so funny. We're all geeks and nerds now. Like, that's not even like a stigma anymore. Like, we all love the geeky shit. But they're like, this is such a fan base, I bet you they'll pay. But I'll tell you what, I'm not going to fucking pay.
So, I mean, you got to crowdsource this. You need to, get together with a group of friends and create, a corporation and be like, hey, you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for the Netflix. You'll pay for this. And then we each just share our passwords. And then that's the way to do it.
Well, Oh, you know what?
You got to find your Christine Baranski fans and
No, but
use
wait
their
a
all-access
second.
pass.
I wonder if my mother's husband, Frank, who's a big Star Trek fan, I wonder if he's going to buy this service. He might.
There you go.
Because he loves
and you know what he's
them.
going to do? He's going to get the cheaper one. It's going to drive you nuts because you're going to have to sit through commercials.
But here's the thing. Like, well, I do that already.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If you have to pay for this service, will you be able to stream the whole season like you can on Netflix?
Well, now this is what I want, because here's the thing. It's going to be week to week.
Oh.
But it's going to be 13 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if I signed up for this for 1 month at the end of the
No, you could.
weeks. If then I just, okay, I'll pay $6, I'll watch the whole thing, then I'll cancel
I'm
the
done.
service.
No, you
Yeah.
could, because like The Handmaid's Tale on Hulu or Harlots, you could do the same thing. You just wait out till it's
I'm
all
waiting
that.
for them, though, to fuck us on this somehow.
Well, for now, they haven't
CBS.
figured it out yet. So, I mean, for $6, you'd pay more than that to, I don't know, rent a movie.
go-
It's,
yeah,
you know.
Oh, yeah,
Same
no,
movie.
I would do it, but I'm not going to pay $6 a month for like 5 months.
And it's 13 episodes, so that spreads out into like a fourth month or so.
Yeah, it spreads into like a 5th or 6th month.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that because that's ridiculous. I might as well just wait to buy the DVDs then at that point because it'd only be about
You still buying DVDs, man?
Let me tell you what, I buy DVDs. I'm keeping the DVD. I like owning physical things.
Yeah.
And let me tell you what, when we're all in the fallout shelter,
Yeah, be happy you got your DVD.
I'll have
be
the
sitting
DVDs.
cool.
Yeah, you won't be able to stream anything.
But you'll have
anymore.
Cloud Atlas, so you can watch it over and over again.
my
That's,
God.
I go on
that's the
and-
true.
I go. Now, interesting news also came out today. Disney is starting their own streaming service. Did you hear about this?
I heard about that.
So by 2029, no, not 2020, 2019, they're going to have none of their stuff on like
Yeah,
Netflix.
they're pulling
or
it
anything.
from everybody.
This is, I don't know why this took them so long to do, by the way.
But here's what's going to drive me fucking crazy. Because, you know, they're going to have all the Star Wars movies, all the Marvel
Have they
shit.
said all the Marvel and the Star Wars as well
They
right now?
have to. They better.
Otherwise, what is it? It's just going to
Yeah.
be like The Little Mermaid?
Yeah,
It's
come
all the
on.
anime stuff for families. I mean, that's
Yeah, but
plenty there.
no,
Come
they're
on.
gonna.
They better have
take-
that.
Go
If they own
explain
it,
to a child why they can't watch Moana or Frozen right now.
I mean, that's the thing. So they're gonna have all that, all the Pixar stuff.
Yeah.
What's gonna drive me crazy is I'm loving the Netflix Marvel shows like
love them.
Jessica Jones, Daredevil. Talk about great stunts.
they're more
Daredevil.
adult. Yeah.
Luke Cage. I'm loving all these.
What about the Iron Fist?
Iron Fist? Is the only one I haven't watched.
It sucks.
That's what I hear, and I saw some clips. And I, a long time ago, said I'm going to watch all these Marvel things. And then when Iron Fist was coming, I'm like, maybe I could skip this. I'm going to go right to the Defender.
The Defenders, yeah.
But I saw some clips like side by side, the fights from like Daredevil, side by side with the fights from Iron Fist, and it's a joke.
It's a joke. It's a major letdown. Daredevil fights are so badass and just technical, you know?
And they do them a lot in these one shots, and you see the brilliance of the choreography.
And he's blind.
On top of everything.
Yeah. But here's the problem that's going to happen for me. I don't want to pay for this Disney thing because I am a guy who still buys Blu-rays. I'm going to have all the Star Wars movies, Marvel movies I want. But I'm going to want to watch these. I'm going to want to watch Daredevil. I'm going to want to watch by then season 4 or 5 of Daredevil.
That's kind of confusing because that kind of, if they're gonna pull all their content from Netflix, because I heard about that. What are they really gonna pull Daredevil and the Defenders and all
It
that?
depends. I don't know who owns, like, that's weird because it depends if it's Marvel Studios. Like, it depends who owns the rights to that, if they licensed it. Or what the
Disney owns
contract was.
Marvel, so
No,
Yeah.
but when they created those
No,
shows.
but that's not a Netflix. Netflix kind of.
That's not a Netflix original.
Yeah, I mean, it has a Netflix original logo thing when it comes up, but I believe it's an acquired thing from Netflix.
Okay.
So
Now,
Netflix didn't produce it.
At what
let's
point
put it
will do you? So the only other thing here is sports, which is a whole other aspect to all of this.
Oh, yeah.
At what point do you just cancel your cable and then just end up paying for a bunch of different bundle services, and you end up seeing everything you want that way?
I feel like I'm gonna. Well, here's the thing. One, I feel like that's gonna. You said before they're like screwing the little man,
Yeah.
and I think you're right because I think at that point, once every network has one of these, then I mean, it's gonna cost more than cable.
it's gonna cost more than cable.
Yeah.
That's gonna be crazy.
That's when you go and you crowdsource the passwords.
I mean, look, right now, Bob Blankenheim uses my HBO. I use his Netflix. It's a fair trade. I'm gonna have
Let me get that password, Bob.
Do you do that? Do you share with?
Well, I do it with my kids.
Yeah.
That's it. If anybody asks, I'll give it to them. But like, you have to pay for Netflix for like if you're using 2 or more TVs, streaming 2 or more TVs at a time, you have to pay a little extra. So I just got to set up just to stream 2 TVs because, I don't want to.
Sean, you using?
There may or may not be a hive mind or a collective going on in my household. Yeah. There
Great
may be
answer.
a little trading, little text messages to my siblings. Like, why's the password not working? Get off the Netflix.
They always talk about people saying they want a la carte cable, and this is what a la carte cable is going to be.
Yeah.
This is what's going to be instead. But the thing is, a la carte cable was always going to end up being more expensive.
Yeah.
Than regular cable.
Yeah. That's why we don't actually have It sounds like a good idea because, I never watch country music television.
But all that's going to subsidize these massive baseball contracts.
But then I get ESPN.
Yeah.
Once you're paying for just ESPN, you're going to end up paying more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all screwed.
And don't even get us started on music. That's a whole other issue.
They're going to give you an option for Disney. They're going to give you, you want the sports package or you want the entertainment package?
Yeah, like they do now with cable. It's no different. It's just going to,
Yep,
we're going to go through all this to end up exactly where we started.
And my cousin...
Or even worse off.
My cousin Michael resurrected a 3-year-old tweet he sent me that said, one day Marvel will have its own streaming service, to which I responded, I feel like it's too niche. Not thinking, it would just team up with all of Disney.
And Star Wars and everything else. Yeah.
And this morning, I guess he remembered that tweet because 3 years later...
It's like Donald Trump, there's a tweet for every occasion.
Yeah, 3 years later, he tweeted that tweet at me like, I guess I was right. And I'm like,
man.
So, every so often, there's something you love in the culture and you can't wait for it to come out. Like a movie based off your favorite book or favorite TV show or an adaptation or something.
A new Star Trek.
Or a new Star Trek. Sean, you recently had one of these.
I did.
The Dark Tower.
Yes.
This is a book or series of books you've loved.
I've loved since I was a kid. They've always been talking about adapting this. It's one of these things that have been in the development hamster wheel for 20 years. And I knew in my heart of hearts that, the only way to do this right is to do what Game of Thrones has done, which is it just needs the big, expensive, long-form, patient television approach. What we got instead was a 90-minute movie that collapsed all the mythology, all the story, all the beauty and subtlety of it into just a generic, bland battle between good and evil. 90 minutes, come on, we could do better than this.
Malcolm, now, I have not seen the movie, which, I had every intention of seeing it, and then, I was only able to get to one movie this weekend, and I chose Detroit, which I think I chose wisely. Yeah, now, Malcolm, I know you saw The Dark Tower. Were you a fan of the books? Had you ever read the books?
I read one of the books. Let me ask you a question. Was The Stand part of The Dark Tower?
No, but Randall Flagg, the bad guy in The Stand, is the Man in Black.
Right.
He's the Matthew McConaughey character. He sort of stands in as he's like the ultimate evil in the Stephen King universe, but he's really the embodiment of the corruption that's in the Dark Tower.
Right.
That's what he is.
So I never read The Dark Tower, but I did read The Stand.
Yeah.
And I kind of The Man in Black. So I was like, okay, this is about, Stephen King's books. And so I did see it. The stunts were great, by the way.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It wasn't terrible. It was just, there was no joy to any of it.
Well, it's somebody who'd been waiting for something like this. This has to be a big pop culture disappointment.
It was. So I don't want to go into this too much, but there's so much about the book series that is steeped in Stephen King's love of spaghetti westerns and the sci-fi stories he read as a kid. And that was one thing that was just missing. There wasn't any feel of the Sergio Leone spaghetti westerns were a huge influence on the look and feel of the books. And none of that was evident in the movies. That would have been something that would just be square one, basic cinematic language. And I don't know if it was a fault of the director, if it was too many cooks in the kitchen, if this was just something that got smoothed down to a nub through the development process. I don't know.
Rushed.
It was raw. That was the thing. It took so long to come out, and then the final product was just.
So, Mal, let me ask you this: has there ever been something that you've been waiting years for, and then suddenly it comes out? It doesn't have to be a movie. It could be a show. It could be a book. It could be anything. But it suddenly comes out, and you're like, "Oh my God, they fucked it. They fucked it up."
Well, let me tell you something. I am more on the Star Wars side. I am a Star Wars fan for life. the spirituality of the Force and all that. It was just so important to me. I just like loved it because of that. And I remember as a child, my dad telling me, when we take me these Star Wars movies, like, yo, one day they're going to make a movie showing how Darth Vader became Darth Vader. I was like, nah, get out of here. Yeah. And so eventually I grow up an adult now, and they put out the prequels. The worst disappointment of my life.
Darth Vader was a creature.
What the hell is the
trade
metachloride? Well, come on.
That's the worst, that they reduce it down to like just this thing in your butt.
Just some bullshit. So that was just like, oh my God, I was so mad at that.
But you still saw all of them.
Of course. I mean, come on, I got to.
You know,
because we're creatures of hope.
You get enough film fans together in a long enough conversation, it always comes back.
It always goes to that. Yeah.
It's like a Godwin's law or something.
Yeah. Those are a disappointment. Although I don't think the third one is that bad.
The third one was actually better. The Clone Wars wasn't that bad either. It's just the first one. It
felt so childish.
Yeah, it was so childish. Forget about it. It just, oh my God, they ruined it. You know?
Yeah, I did like Darth Maul though.
I love Darth Maul, and they gave him
even with this terrible movie where like, but this part's good.
Yeah.
Like holding out for hope still.
Yeah, and you know what else I'm looking forward to, but I have a feeling I'm gonna be disappointed. The Marvel series is coming on ABC, The Inhumans.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing good things about this. You gonna go see it in IMAX to see the alternate shorter cut of the pilot?
No, I am. I'm a big fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they've dealt with Inhumans on that show.
Right.
But I am not excited for the Inhuman show.
Not at all. And I love the series and the comics. You know, I'm a comic book buff, and, you know, I always wanted to see how they would portray Thunderbolt. And, you know, it's not really helping. And Medusa with the hair, none of that's helping right now, the way they're portraying it.
Well, let me ask you this. As a comic book, has there ever been like, you know, because we're in the golden age of comic book movies. Like there's always a comic book movie now.
I love it.
Like once Iron Man started the whole Marvel thing, and, you know, going back to X-Men movies kind of really started this trend, I guess.
Yeah.
Has there been one that's like really disappointed, like a character that you loved in the comics, and I'm like, they just didn't get it right?
Apocalypse.
Okay.
That was
I didn't even see that one.
Major letdown for me. The X-Men Apocalypse movie.
Yeah, that one.
They portrayed him so weak. It was just like, I can't believe they did this.
Yeah, it's like it was a lot of build up, and then I feel like that's a character that you should have built up over more than one movie.
Apocalypse is
Thanos?
The Thanos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the Thanos of the X-Men team. You know what I mean? So they should have did more with him. They should have built him up more. They should have made him extremely powerful the way he is, you know? And it was sad the way they portrayed him.
You mean Apocalypse played by Llewyn Davis?
Yeah, good old Oscar Isaac. Who I like. He's a good
Star Wars
actor.
Poe Dameron.
I'm gonna, you know, look, we could talk about Indiana Jones and Kingdom of Crystal Skull.
we don't need to.
My God,
we could talk about more of these prequels. But I'm gonna tell you the original one. The one time I realized that, like, oh, these things will disappoint you. As a kid, I was big into He-Man. Like, I had all the action figures, and I watched the cartoon.
I know where you're going with this.
And I heard they were making a movie.
Oh, man.
And little Will was all like, "Dad, we gotta go see Master Universe." And he's like, "Yeah, let's go." And that was the first time I think I realized, because you kind of, as a kid, you almost blindly like everything. Like oh, he's good. That was the first time I'm like, oh, this isn't the He-Man I know.
Yeah, what is this?
Well, first
It's like
of all,
half a dumpster in an alley.
well, yeah. First of all, they're on Earth.
Yeah.
They got to be in
Eternia.
Yeah, that's where they got to be. Secondly,
Gotta.
there's a lot of things that just aren't in the movie. Like,
What else, Battle Cat?
where was Battle Cat? Where was Orko?
Yeah.
Where was instead they created all these new characters. It's like, no. And little Will was like, I want fucking Orko. I might have even said fucking Orko. Where
Was there
was
Two-Face?
no,
many faces?
They
Oh,
created
Manageable characters that they could do with costumes on a budget.
Exactly.
yeah, you know what?
I mean, even Dolph Lundgren's costume was terrible. I mean, like, he's wearing these little leather rags or
Yeah.
whatever, you know? And he had the physique to run with that He-Man.
Yeah, he looked like He-Man.
Yeah, he could have did it.
Langella was okay as Skeletor for what they were doing in the mid-80s.
Who was the female lead in that?
Courtney Cox is running around with them. Courtney Cox, and I think Meg Forster was...
Tila.
No, she was Evelyn.
Evelyn, that's right.
Good name. Strong. Tells me exactly where she is.
Also, if you want to get a real weird Will Link deep dive, which also says something about my sex life, I'm pretty sure my earliest sexual thoughts, although I did not think of them as sexual thoughts, were for the character Eva Lynn. Now that says something about my
she was
taste
pretty
in
racy.
women.
She was dressed pretty racy.
She was. And that says something about the
sink pisser.
the women I hang out with.
Pisser.
That's a story for another podcast.
Oh boy.
Actually, no, she doesn't fit into as much of them. But yeah, anyway, I've dated some terrible women. So in a brilliant bit of marketing and corporate synergy, the ride-sharing service Lyft and my beloved Taco Bell have announced something called Taco Mode, wherein a passenger can request a Taco Bell ride-through as an intermediate stop on their route. Now, don't get me wrong. I fucking love Taco Bell. How much do I talk about my love of Taco Bell on this podcast? It's possibly the greatest restaurant of all time. It is why they won the fast food wars in the Sylvester Stallone classic Demolition Man. But you know what I don't love? Showing up at a drive-thru choked with 20 Honda Civics and 2006 Toyota Priuses from these fucking Lyft drivers holding things up for me because they got some drunk asshole in the back who's like, I need my Taco Bell now. No, I need my Taco Bell. You need to get the fuck home. Who needs this? The drivers? No. They don't want their cars filled with burrito scents and loose chalupas flying all over the back seats. And the drunk passengers, like I said, wait till you get home and order Postmates like a normal fucking person. And that's why you, Lyft/Taco Bell, are this week's enemy of the podcast. Go fuck yourself. I just want my brand new potato burrito and to go home. And I'll tell you what, I had that potato burrito last weekend.
How was it?
It was fucking delicious. I'll tell you what happened. I went to this game show, then I went to a bar, then I went to another bar, then I went to another bar, then I went home and realized I have to sober up because I gotta watch Orphan Black and podcast about it. So what did I do? I walked over to... I walked.
Okay, I was about to say.
I walked. I didn't get in a fucking
Well,
Lyft.
I think it's why you live where you do, because you're in spitting distance of a Taco Bell.
I walked to Taco Bell. I got a bunch of potato burritos. I ate them, sobered me up, watched Orphan Black. Great fucking night.
How about that?
So it's weird how we get food nowadays. Like now we all have like this Uber Eats. Restaurants that would never deliver now deliver because you just send a poor fucking Uber driver.
Yeah, McDonald's delivers now.
Do you utilize things like this a lot, like Uber Eats and stuff?
I'm still kind of old school when it comes to my food because I'm really finicky and I want it a certain way. A little bit of this on there, a little bit of that on there. You know, I'm one of those type of guys. I'm pretty anal when it comes to food, so I go get it myself. You know, I don't want to give anybody a hard time.
I'll tell you what. The only time I ever actually get delivery is if I have people over and I order a pizza. There's a pretty good pizza place near me, Danielle's Woodfire Pizza on Riverside in Laurel Canyon. And
hey, let me ask you a question. Speaking of pizza in Laurel Canyon area, there used to be one called Mazzarino's. Have you ever been there?
No.
It was off of Whitsett. No, it was off of Riverside and Whitsett in that area.
Oh, I don't know.
That was like one of the best pizzas. They closed down.
Well, let me ask you this, because pizza out here...
It's about to get into a New York pizza.
Yeah. While we're talking about it.
Well, let me, yes. But that's the only time I ever get anything delivered, and it's usually because people are there. Otherwise, I go pick shit up. Like, I'm kind of with you. I go get things. I don't get this mentality of, like, I'm just going to pay some guy at 3 a.m. to bring me a hamburger.
No.
But let's talk pizza for a second.
Okay.
Because my take on pizza about LA and what I say to people is there is good pizza out here, but you have to find it.
You have to
hunt for it. Whereas in New York, pretty much every rinky-dink place, you get a decent slice. And the comparison I make is Mexican. Like, every little rinky-dink Mexican place, you get a pretty good burrito. But in New York, you might have to hunt for that a little bit. So I kind of think is that there is good pizza here, but you got to know where it is.
You got to know where it's at.
And once I find it, I just stick with it.
I'm sticking with it. Yeah.
Have you been to Desano's over on Santa Monica, Normandy? It's a wood fireplace. It's really good.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a New Yorker.
Yeah.
I don't remember growing up with none of this wood fire shit.
I'm with you. And I know Danielle's calls it wood fire because they cook it, but it's a
No,
normal
with this place, you
pizza.
see them making the pizza. They're like it's a whole. You watch them. With
Well,
the
that's
dough.
how I grew up. That's
Yeah.
how they better do
But
it.
they
I
put
want
it
to
in,
see
but
them
then you get
flip
the
it.
ovens right
I want
there.
to see the guy throw the shit up in the air. catch it.
Unwashed hands.
Yeah, whatever. That's what makes it good.
Nah, he's right.
All right.
I've been in there in Danielle's, and I seen them kneading that dough. I don't know what they're doing in Normandy
No, they're doing it. You watch them make.
Do that. Take off your fucking gloves and knead that dough.
Cough on your hand first. Fine. Spell ride or die with Sbarros.
Sbarros. The only time I'll ever have Sbarros is if I'm in an airport and in a pinch.
That stuff is disgusting.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
That ain't-
You know what? Let me tell you what else I don't like. I don't like that everything, because to me, and this is something else I always say.
What's that?
Like a good slice doesn't need, like a good pizza doesn't need anything on it.
Pineapple
A true
anchovies
New
are
Yorker.
done.
Spoken like
Yeah.
a true New Yorker. We don't need all that shit on it. Just give me a slice of cheese, a cheese slice. That's it.
The most I ever put on it, the most, is maybe I'll put some pepperoni on it. But honestly, 9 times out of 10, I'm just getting a couple of cheese slices.
That's all you
at a good
need.
place. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And these people who suddenly they get like a fucking salad on their pizza, and don't even get me started on this pineapple.
Don't get me started on that pineapple salad. You took the words out of my mouth. You know, my girlfriend the other day, she goes to get the pizza and she puts pineapple on it. And I'm like, blasphemy. What are you doing? You know?
That's
Like, where did that come from?
Sean, who started that?
I don't know. Clearly not someone in the Northeast.
Oh, my God.
It's a Cuban thing.
It's disgusting, is what
Oh,
it is.
yeah, it is.
You like it?
Delicious.
Oh, man.
No, my default is cheese pizza, but if there's pineapple, I won't. Even if it's an option, I don't want necessarily go for it. But I'm not against pineapple on my pizza.
That's insane.
I remember once someone was at my place and they were like, "Oh, can we order something?" I said, "Well, this is a good pizza place. We can order pizza." And they said, "Can we get it?" I said, "No." And they said, "Well, can we get half regular half?" I said, "No, I don't even want that shit in my house."
I don't want the fucking sausage drip. I don't even want to look at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This has been pizza talk.
Sean, do you? We've kind of deviated from the original.
Sorry, guys.
Do you utilize? No, it's New York.
So I don't mind. I don't really use Postmates. What I'll do is I will just deliver directly from the place, and so many places now offer direct delivery. Also, the websites have gotten so good where you can really kind of customize your order and what you want. There's some places around here that I like. But no, I don't really use some of these extra premium services where it's like now it's $8 more, $10 more because I like need Cheesecake Factory delivered. It's like, no, just stick to a place that has its own like delivery infrastructure in place.
agree.
I got a buddy who's driving for Uber Eats.
Yeah.
And he said, 9 times out of 10, it's like rich, lazy people.
Yeah.
Like he's driving a lot up into the Hollywood Hills with like a fucking.
Like if you live up there, it's a pain in the ass to like get down and go get food. And I get it.
He gets like weird like orders of like, oh, we just need like a dozen chicken McNuggets, and he drives up some mansion with a dozen chicken McNuggets,
Yeah.
and then they stiff him on a tip.
Yeah.
So
Or they
That's how
do
you stay
crazy
rich.
shit like bring me Mastros. You know, you just pick up from like anywhere.
well,
So-
you know what? And they just make it. Just go
Hey,
home, make a
here's
steak.
here's a $60 filet mignon. You know, I'm gonna have some dude in a Civic drop off.
Okay, I always like to end on a weird note. This is also food related.
Yeah.
In fact, the place I ate at last week. A disturbing trend has been noticed on Twitter in many U.S. states. New York, Arizona, New Mexico, Indiana. They have noticed that the locations of Outback Steakhouses, when you draw lines between them, they form perfect pentagrams.
I'll just show this to you.
We'll show this to you after. They draw perfect pentagrams. So,
We don't know what this means.
my question to you, Malachi, is the Outback Steakhouse doing some major fucking witchcraft shit?
Dude, this is news to me. I am flabbergasted right now hearing that one. I don't even like Outback Steakhouse.
See, I
anyway.
like Outback.
We're all
do?
gonna die in a fiery blooming onion.
I think, you know what, we're talking about steaks. I think Outback, you can get a quality steak at a reasonable price.
You think so?
You just
Yeah.
shill for all these companies. Listen to you. Outback Steakhouse. Let me tell you what. That's a quality. You got Danielle's on the. You're on.
Well, Danielle's, I'm supporting a
and-
mom and pop pizza place.
Okay, Taco Bell. You're on the teat of Big Taco.
Okay, here's the thing with Taco Bell. And I saw the face you made with
Yeah,
Taco
I
Bell.
don't know about that stuff. It's not even meat.
I only eat at 2 fast food places.
Okay.
In-N-Out Burger
I'll go for that.
and Taco Bell. And And Taco Bell, and then people say, well, you could get good. Someone said this to me the other day when I was drunkenly going home. I said, I need some Taco Bell. And they said, well, you could get good Mexican so many places. No, fuck you. If I want Mexican, I get Mexican. If I want Taco Bell, I get Taco Bell. It's a completely different food item, as far as I'm concerned.
Nationality,
It's not real
cultural.
food.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's tasty. But I'll tell you what, the fucking Outback Steakhouse.
There you go.
I love the Aussie cheese fries.
Keep
they
selling.
make pretty good chicken wings. They're very well seasoned.
The food isn't that bad. It's just not something I'm gonna go for. Like if they should just call it Outback. Don't call it steakhouse because it's not. Yeah, the steaks aren't pretty. They aren't all that.
I mean, as
And
far
you feel
as
like you're getting the authentic Australian experience? Going on the
here's what I'll
walkabout?
say.
I
I think Outback is man, I really am a shill for this. Is a step above restaurants that people consider in a similar vein, like like it's better than a TGI Fridays or Chili's or an Applebee's, certainly.
Definitely.
Like it's a step above them, and I think people mix it with those.
Well,
And I don't think that's fair to the Outback.
yeah, it should.
Steakhouse.
The fine.
It's way better. I agree to that.
We good?
Blooming onion. Sean, you don't like the Outback Steakhouse?
I've been like once.
Was it with me?
I don't remember.
What?
That's probably why I
All
didn't
I
like
remember
it.
seeing that the blooming onion was like 22,000 calories. I'm like, I don't know about
Oh
that.
yeah, no, it's a lot. And I went with friend of the podcast, Alyssa Vaughn, and we ordered chicken wings and Aussie cheese fries, and we ordered these new macaroni cheese bite things.
Ugh.
You need to take this guy to the gym.
I know. Come on, Will. We're going
Will,
after
you'll be
this
good
podcast.
after-
We're going right.
You'll be good
that.
after leg and back day.
So, Malachi, thank you so much for joining
It's
us.
been a pleasure. Thank you.
I know you don't have a Twitter handle to promote, so this is the part usually where I tell people to tell us to Twitter. So, I guess I'll just move on.
I got a Facebook. You just could Facebook me. That's it. I just do my work on there. Malachi Mutakabbir. Mutakabbir.
Excellent. You can find me on all forms of social media at the Sean David. I haven't been tweeting much lately because things are kind of grim, but I'll get back into it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. I'm done.
And you can follow me on Twitter at The Real Will Link. You could also, by the time this is up, it'll be my last episode of my Orphan Black podcast.
Are you going to do a series recap?
Possibly. Time is tight, but since I don't have to do that on a particular schedule, if not with my co-host Megan, I might do one on my own. We'll see. And Megan and I are talking about, seriously, by the holidays, starting a new podcast, which I'm going to need your help starting.
Is it on a show?
We're thinking of starting a podcast because I love the show Lost. It's like an all-time favorite show. I even love the end of it. Mm-hmm. Megan, that watched all of it, but like kind of hate-watched it by the end and hated the ending.
I
so we're thinking
conflict.
of doing a podcast where every week we recap an episode of Lost, and tentative title is No Love Lost.
Okay.
Nice.
And
I haven't. I mean, it goes down the hatch. Although No Love Lost is pretty good.
Yeah. So we're basically each week we'll yell at each other for an hour about old episodes of Lost. So we're thinking of doing this.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I have a show September 9th. I'm performing.
Just kidding.
I'm performing in Tell It. It's at Open Space on Fairfax. If you live here in Los Angeles,
Open Spaces.
I'm working on a brand new piece that I have written a draft of, and it is extremely ranty.
Okay.
And
I may have to read it first.
and very cynical.
Okay.
So I don't know. I might have gone off the deep end with this one.
I may have to read this for you. You perform it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next week on the show.
Big stuff coming up.
Well, it's funny. We're taking a week off because somebody's out of town, not me.
Well, thanks.
That's-
Thanks for throwing me under the bus.
Hey, in a couple of weeks, I'll be the one out of town.
Yeah.
But then we come back, and we've got a couple of our usual, and mostly because of our out of town trips, we're gonna have back-to-back episodes where it's just me and Sean.
Didn't we do one of those last week?
It's the dog days of summer. my
Okay.
friend.
We're giving you all a vacation from our guests.
But we're gonna have our Emmy breakdown. We're all picking our Emmy picks And the week after that, our fall movie preview. But then the week after that, we're back with guests. Misha Fisher, who a terrific storyteller who's recently transitioned into stand-up comedy. He's going to be on the show. He's going to talk all about that.
Excellent. Malachi, thank you so much for being on the show. For the Will Sean Podcast, I'm Sean David.
I'm Will Link.
And we're finished.
We're finished.